Sinning is not the real problem as far as God is concerned. There's something deeper that's causing us to commit acts of sin. It's that cause that's the problem. Our sinning is the consequence of the problem. You see, the Christian church as a whole basically believes that the human problem that we need to be saved from is our sinning. So what's the solution? Well, on the cross, Jesus gets all our sinning, lumps and dumps them onto Jesus, and then punishes him with death to pay the penalty for our sins. So their theology and understanding of the cross is totally determined by the problem. The cross is the solution, and the problem is our acts of sin. Transfer our acts of sin onto Jesus, punish him by death for our sins, problem solved. But what if it's not our acts of sin that's the problem, not the real problem? Then we have misunderstood the cross. And that's tragic. That's lethal. Yes, Romans 3:23 says, "For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." Yes, that is a problem. All have sinned. The whole human race has sinned. That's a verb. But did you notice that the verse begins with the word for? Whenever you see the word for in the Bible, it means you better read what he has just said, because now he's joining what he has just said with what he is saying now. You would never hear me get up and teach and say, for. I don't start any teaching like that. I say the word for because it's a conjunctive. I'm bringing together what I've just said and now making a summary. So he says, for all have sinned. Why have all sinned? Let's go behind the word for. Let's go back to the context. And he says, well, this is the result. For all have sinned. Why? For all have sinned. What has caused me to sin? That's the problem. So let's go backwards. Romans chapter 3, verses 9 and 10. He will tell us what the real problem is. The result, the consequence is for all have sinned. Why have all sinned? Why? Romans 3, 9 and 10 tells us what has triggered and caused our sinning. Romans 3, 9 and 10, NIV. What shall we conclude then? Do we have any advantage? Not at all. For we have already made the charge that Jews and Gentiles, that's everyone, alike are all under the power of sin. Wow. This is where the context starts. And he says here, what conclusion are we going to make? Do we Jews have any advantage over non-Jews, the rest of the world? Not at all. For we have already made the charge that Jews and Gentiles, that's every single human being, alike, are all under the power of sin. As it is written in verse 10, there is none righteous, no, not one. So here is the cause of the problem. The whole human race is under the power of sin. The power of sin. He's not talking about sinning. The word sin there is a noun, and it exercises power, control, dominion. We are all under the power of sin. Sin is personified like a lord, and it has power. We are all under the power, the presence, the dominion. We're all under the power, control, dominion of sin, the noun. And as a result, there is none righteous, no, not one. The whole human race is under the power, control, and dominion of sin. As a result, all have sinned. Oh. All are under the power of sin, and as a result, all commit acts of sin. If these messages are blessing you, please consider giving a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notifications button. This will trigger YouTube to sending messages like these all around the world. God bless you. The real cause of our sinning is that we are all under the power of sin. And it's pushing me to commit acts of sin. Now, if that sounds radical to you, listen to Romans chapter 7, 19 and 20. Paul is going to talk about his sinful behavior, and then he's going to tell us what causes his sinning. Romans 7, 19 and 20. For I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do, this I keep on doing. What? He's talking about sinful acts. He is using a verb. For I do not do, that's a verb. The good I want to do, that's a verb. But the evil I do not want to do, my sinning, this I keep on doing. Sinning, verb. Why? He's saying, look, I just don't understand myself. The good I do want to do, I don't do. And the evil that I don't want to do, that's what I keep doing. What's making me do all this doing? What's causing me to sin? Why is it that we've all continued sinning? Why? What's causing it? Verse 20. Now, if I do what I do not want to do, sinning, it is no longer I who do it. What? It is no longer I who do it, but it is sin living in me that does it. Boom. Sin is a noun. It lives in me. It lives in the whole human race, and it's causing us to commit acts of sin. The whole world is under the power of sin. This sin is a presence that lives inside me. Let me read verse 20 again. Now, if I do what I do not want to do, it is no longer I who do it, but it is sin living in me that does it. The power of sin lives in me, and it's pushing me to commit acts of sin. So where Paul says, for all have sinned, now we know why. Because the power of sin that we are all under is inside of us, and it's pushing us and pulling us around. So if God's going to fix our sinning, he has to fix the cause of our sinning. Our sinful behavior is a consequence of and result of the sin power living in me. So if God's going to really fix the problem, he's not going to deal with the consequences. He's going to deal with the cause. The cause of our sinning is the indwelling sin power that's pushing us around. So now this is going to change how we understand the cross. Because if the cross is not about our sinning getting transferred onto Jesus, and then he gets punished for what we did through death, and now if the real cause of that is the sin power living in me, then the cross primarily does not deal with my sinning, but what's caused my sinning, the indwelling sin power. That'll come up next video. God bless you.